This is God in the Grind.
God in the Grind podcast is in partnership with the Virginia Christian Chamber of Commerce and powered by Selah Productions. Visit us at covidchristianchamber.com or find us on social media at COVID Christian Chamber or Coastal Virginia Christian Chamber of Commerce. Hey, this is Roberta.
And Joseph.
And we are God in the Grind podcast, the Virginia Christian Chamber. And we are here again at the CEO Summit at Liberty University with the man of the hour, Jeff, and he is C-suite. And
I'm everything, all things C-suite, everything, yeah.
So tell us everything. Like, tell us how you're, like, what did you think today?
Today was a very good day. We kicked it off well. I hosted two panels, one on being an entrepreneur, what that entails. So I thought that was a great, and by the way, we had billions of dollars represented on that stage, which was amazing.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like you sit there and you see all the different experience that's there and the themes that came out. And then this, I had another panel that was on Bitcoin and finance, fintech, everything that's going on, the changing nature of people being able to get money, use money, the way money will be used in the future, whether it's on the balance sheet, not, whether it's liquid gold, non-liquid. I mean, it's all of these things. It was crazy. And I had a blast. I have my own podcast on the C-Suite Network, C-Suite Radio, C-Suite TV. And I love to do interviews, but I was having so much fun on stage, because I was into it. I was learning and it was fun. So that was great.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background. Go back a couple years. How long has C-Suite Network been around?
We've been around since about 2015. We started with a little conference, started doing that. We were more into events, and I say more into events. Now we're doing over 600 events a year, online and in person around the country with all the different groups that we have. But you want to think of the C-Suite Network as a group for VPs or higher. You have to be this tall to get in.
Okay.
And the reason for it is, when I was a chief marketing officer of a major Fortune 100 company, dealing with other C-suite executives, there was real trust there.
Yeah.
And, and with all the things you see, LinkedIn, you see websites, you see, all the stuff that's out there, you can't always know who to trust.
That's right.
And, and I always like it when someone would introduce me to another C-suiter, and that's a friend of mine, so to speak. I don't want to say it like the mafia, but it's a little bit, it's an in. And so, to have that, I work with this person. I know this person. They're at this level, and that gives you some confidence. And so, we got started with that, and then we started adding the media. So we have content, now we have communities, and now we have commerce, like C-Suite Loan, C-Suite Legal. We have all these different things. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. So about 350,000 executives opted in and doing it, tens of thousands of paying members that are part of it. And now, on the podcast and television side, we have about 600 shows, 700 shows, and growing at 6x this year and 100 million downloads.
And you're so humble.
Well, that's nice of you. Thank you.
Spoke to us in such a manner that,
we all put on our pantses, our addresses on the same way, right? But that's the way it is, And I said this today. I think I said it today. I go do so many programs. I got to remember where I'm at, what I said. But we all put on our pants the same way, and no matter how big you think you are, there's always someone bigger. And even though that person might not even have the experience that you have, that you can learn from. There's a pony in there somewhere, and I always look for the ponies. Yeah.
Now, all the stuff that you're doing with C-Suite, I mean, was this always the plan, or was it like we like to have a community, we like to have podcasts, or was it like, hey, this is happening, we need to build a framework?
More like that. So, I always wanted to do something where I said, let's build the most trusted network. And I said way back then, and this is when I started thinking about it in 2010, 11, I said, look, there's got to be a trusted network. Trust is going to be the biggest currency there is in the future. And I was out there saying that before everybody started saying it, so to speak, because I didn't know who to trust. I mean, things were moving so fast with the digital and you got to just have a sense of your community. So I said, let's just figure this out. Let's start inviting people and start putting things together. And then, wow, what about this podcast stuff? What about the media? What about this? Oh, we really need that, so. And that's really how it got started, was being able to pull that together, because, we're making such great changes, and COVID caused some of it, right? Because
but you were
we were ahead of it, but at the same time, during COVID, days became weeks, weeks became months, months became years. And now with AI and all the other things, it's moving astronomical.
Yeah.
And I said today, they were talking about Bitcoin versus AI. And I said, the only reason AI has been adopted greater is because most people can spell it, and as opposed to Bitcoin, where it's really difficult to understand the blockchain and everything else. So you just need a place to come and to be with other people like you and be able to take the armor off, walk in and say, I need some help. I want to do this. I'm thinking about this and learn from other people who are doing some great job.
What did you feel like was like, before you did this, what was the closest thing out there that people had?
There was a lot of different things out there. It still are. So you want to look at the C-suite like a giant sequoia tree. Mm-hmm. And so you have this big tree with this huge canopy, and underneath the canopy is this lush ecosystem. And all we are is doing the platform. And then we're finding groups like yours and others, and we're saying, come in and be a little apple on the tree. And if we can get all these communities together, then we're all connected. We're all doing different things. And a lot of people want to try to put paint it with a big brush,
sure.
Like all of them, do it all.
Yeah.
And no, it's riches in the niches.
Yeah.
I mean, you're representing a great community, and it's a big community, but it's still, people would say, oh, there's not many Christians in business. Oh, there's a lot of Christians in business, right? They just don't talk about it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so just like there's a lot of this and then a lot of this and a lot of this, but I call it riches in the niches. And we're going to get more and more into those niches. And that's why I think it's important to have that connection, that network, and, but it's evolved over time, that message. The tree thing, I always called it the sequoia effect, We've always had that. We've always known that was what it was going to be, and that trust underlying. But then the other thing is, why should you have to go out and create a podcast network, distribution network? We'll do that. Why do you have to create this? We'll do that. So now, but I get the value of you in the network talking to all these other people.
Yeah.
That's how we make change. That's the way we drive things. That's the way we create, a better world.
It's interesting that you say like the riches are in the niches, which I've heard that, I know the saying, but it seems like it's like what you're doing is not the niche. You're making a place for the niches.
Correct.
Yours, it's very broad.
Yeah.
It's not niche at all, but it's
right.
But if you even think of we're not doing all media. I'm only interested in business media or lifestyle media for the audience that we serve. That's it.
Okay.
So, I'm not, I don't want to be the next NBC. I want to be the next C-suite radio, the C-suite TV. I want to be, and although I all hats to, them, but the world's changing, the way it's evolving. And so I don't know where it's going to be, but so we'll keep doing it. And will we make mistakes? Absolutely. But no one's going to die, So no one's going to die. No one's going to die.
You're going to pivot.
Yeah, no one's going to die. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll keep pivoting. I'll pivot. Yeah. I'll pivot till I pivot again.
So I want to ask a little bit of a deeper question.
Uh-oh. You're not going to make me cry, are you?
No,
all right, good.
No. But
again,
all of these shows that you've done, have you ever turned away someone and said, no, you're not for us? Or have you?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. We've had some, you have some people. I once had, I once did a conference, we check everybody, because you got to be VP or higher. And so we checked, and this one woman had registered, and she's a psychic. And so, wow. and we're having this big conference. It's at the World Trade Center in New York City. And she's registered. We got 800 people coming in. I said to the team, I said, whoa, what's this person? Because we were checking them. And they said, well, she's a psychic. I go, well, you got to call her and tell her she can't come. Yeah. And they go, we can't do that. I said, she's a psychic. She knows that she can't come. She already knows, right?
So
and if she doesn't, she's not real. But right.
She should have seen that coming.
But sure. No, we've had shows that are inappropriate where they say something, and I've had some big names, and I've had to call and say, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, there's certain decorum you have to have, and it's a C-suite, right? Right. And not that, I'm editing people or I'm censoring people, because you got a right to say that what you want, and I'll defend your right to do it. But there's a price to pay for that. And sometimes that means that you're a little out of line there. And And we've had some of that. We've had shows that come to us that are just not even a close fit for it.
I mean, I was in radio for 20 years, right?
Well, you have to, right?
I worked at the Howard Stern
You worked at
station.
the same station.
Dee
Yeah.
Snyder was my morning show.
Oh,
He's a
Dee Snyder.
What's his
But Dee,
name?
he was on Celebrity Apprentice, where I was a judge on Celebrity Apprentice. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's some crazy people.
But even there, we had the FCC that would shut you down if you said a certain thing. But now
It's much looser. Yeah. Well, but
it's a whole different world we're living in.
yeah, but it's appropriate. There's things that are getting into the system. So like on Apple, if you use some bad language, you'll get a red mark or something. And I joked here at Liberty University. I said it's a good thing that I'm here because you're helping me do better with my language. Because I'm known to be a little salty in my language, And I remember one time I actually threatened to punch a guest in the throat for what he said. Well, yeah, remember during COVID or right before COVID, there was the overheard in Goldman Sachs elevator. And and this person was secret, but it was a very big Twitter account. And finally he got outed. And the week he got outed, I had him on my show and he couldn't make it in New York. He was down in the lower end of Manhattan and FiDi. And I'm up in Midtown. And so couldn't make it to the studio. So I did the interview anyway. But during that interview, he talked about how women are used like tethered goats. Now, I just saw your body language, right? No, my friend. What did you just say? And he told me, I said, that disgusts me. And I said, well, how could you even say something like that? And he goes, well, that's the industry. I said, listen, brother, that's not human beings. That you're talking about women here. And I said, and by the way, I remember in your bio, you have daughters.
That's right.
How dare you? I said, if you were here right now, I would punch you in the frickin' throat. And I said that. And so sorry for my language, but yeah, you have to have some standards. You have to have some things, but and that occurs. So.
Yeah.
And different shows for different things. Like, your show is much different than my show in terms of the way we do it. I film on the set of the New York Stock Exchange now. We just recently partnered with the New York Stock Exchange, which is awesome. They're now on our network, SHRM, Society of HR Management. They brought their 5 shows. They're here at Liberty University, going and getting some great CEOs. We've got other podcasters, Prosperity Lounge and others that are here. It's just really great to be able to be in an event where all these people come together, different backgrounds, different shows, different kinds of things. Hugh Ballou's here. He does nonprofits. I mean, so it's great. It's just a great thing.
That's what the kingdom is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the hands and the feet, right? And like you have your tree.
I'm just like a pinky. I'm like a pinky. That's why.
A little bit bigger than that.
Maybe I'm the belly button. Maybe I could be the belly button. That would be good. I don't know what the belly button feeds everything. Doesn't it used to be? That's what.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here.
Oh, this is awesome.
To open space to us and to have such a vision.
Well, it's up to, but let's go back. Liberty University. Who would think, that I would be at Liberty University with my political background and everything else in the past, but to be here with people who really believe in other people. And when I heard about it, I remember the history, Jerry Falwell, this and that. And I was back here in 1980 with Senator George McGovern years ago. And, and here I am at this university and you walk around and see what they've done and what they're doing and how open-minded they are about things. And we took some heat, we take some heat sometimes. People say, oh, that's too red. And then, then you got the blue side. And I said, let's remember that when it comes to business, we're all green. And that's what it would take, the common denominator. And you could have different views. My job isn't to change your opinion. My job is just to understand. And so that we need more of that. And I think that's what business is about. I think business is one of those things that's a common denominator that people can come together and we can have great discussions and great people get together. So my hat's off to Liberty University to sponsoring, to doing this. And Dave and the whole team. It's really, we just got connected with them a few months ago. They were down in Dallas for the Southern Baptist Convention, and someone said they're throwing a reception. They said, Jeff, could you get some people there? Would you invite some people? I said, well, there's only 2 days. So I showed up with like 50 or 60 people and executives, and they were like, who are all these people? I said, they're C-suite, and met the president, met Dave, met all the top team. And that couldn't have been more welcome, couldn't have been more joyous. And just like the chemistry was great. And then, it was really nice to have. So now we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they put me on stage and we had a great time. Yeah.
They did.
So so tell me what's next for C-Suite.
Well, we're expansion. I mean, that's the key piece. we're really working hard to how do we nurture our communities more? How do we get more communities in? So like we've got just reached out to the Irish Business Organization. They'll be coming in. We got the San Juan Social Club, which is coming in out of Puerto Rico. So we've got that. And we've got other groups that are coming in. And of course, we're going to talk to our Christian friends about coming in as well. We want everybody on that tree and then all working together. So community leads, content, let me back up. So good content like this leads to us branching out and creating great communities, okay, or nurturing those communities. And then from there, we get more marketplace or what we call commerce. And that's really what we're trying to do. So we're trying to expand more content. So our goal is to 6X this year on content and then add more communities, more niches, so we can have more riches and then the commerce. So we're going to build out C-suite loans, C-suite legal, C-suite business valuation. I even want to do C-suite cologne, the smell of success. So all those things. Just have fun. We're just having fun. Yeah, just have some fun, right?
Yeah,
it's good to have fun.
Do what you love, absolutely love. And I love people. I love broadcasting. I love my husband.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we love entrepreneurs like you.
Oh, thank you.
Because this is what makes the kingdom so fun. Right?
It is.
Different flavors.
Yeah. You got to win, and winning's good.
To win.
Yeah. You know what? We were talking about that this morning. They said somebody said fail fast. I said, don't fail fast. Failing sucks.
Yeah.
I want to win fast. That's the real thing is about winning fast. You're going to fail all the time.
You win faster together.
Oh, totally. And you win knowing other people's failures too. So it's okay. Get through them. I mean, somebody always asks me, what's your biggest failure? I said, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I don't know. I havenn done it yet. I mean, what I mean is I always fail. It's always big, but it's going to be bigger the next time if I'm swinging harder. So that's the way I look at it.
So how can we serve you?
Oh,
is there a prayer request that you have from us?
Biggest thing you can do is to encourage and hope and give people create more great content, because we're in this whole age right now where we can't trust all the stuff that we hear and see, right? So let's just go be good providers, good stewards of business, good stewards of great information, good stewards of other people. And I think we'll come out of it. Okay. That's the key thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. How does everybody find out about you and your company? Just to say the website.
Just look up the C-Suite Network, C-Suite Network, okay, .com, and you can come see me, Jeffrey Hayzlett, anything on social media. I'm all over the place.
Well, you heard it from him. It's not as expensive as you think. It's like, Joseph and I were like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, people always ask that when we tell, by the way, thank you for letting me say that, because a lot of people say, is that a month? No, it's a year. Yeah, it's a year. Yeah, it's like nothing.
You want to quickly?
To join the C-Suite Network is $1,000, $1,000 a year. If you want the podcast package distribution, what we call a contributor, it's $2,500 a year. It's real simple, real simple. Just come jump in, and of course, there's other things you can do.
Right.
There's other things. We recently took over the Wall Street Journal's bestseller list. Now we have the C-Suite bestseller. We have all these different communities that you can join, whether we run them or other people. We have hundreds more that are other people. I'd much rather have more of those, and those are all different costs.
So you've been traveling for 60 days now?
Oh, yeah. I've been on the road for months. I was like, yeah. And then I get, it's one of those, and you get to the hotel, wonderful hotel here in Lynchburg. And unfortunately, I have no laundry. So what are you doing? I'm washing my stuff in the bathtub. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
On the road.
Home is South Dakota. We spent a lot of time in New York. New York is also, but South Dakota is my main home. It's a beautiful place. I'm going to go back there this weekend. I'm leading a mastermind group, a thought council of our thought leaders. And then we also have our Hero Club, which is a special CEO group of value-based leaders. So we've got many, many people. We're going to go up to Mount Rushmore, and it's all about legacy. So we're going to talk about legacy. Now you're going to see the legacy in stone. And then we're going to go to Crazy Horse, which is even bigger than Mount Rushmore. We're going to walk out on the arm of Crazy Horse. And they're 75 years into a 150-year-old startup, because that thing will not be finished for another 75 years. So you want to talk about, grit, determination. That's a long haul. That's 3, 4, maybe 5 generations will work on that monument to get it finished. And it's massive. You could fit Mount Rushmore under the arm of Crazy Horse. And so that's how big that monument is. So it's going to be a great thing. It's a great testament to legacy. So we're going to see 1-2 punch.
It's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you have any final questions?
No, that's okay.
just blessed
I'm just
by-
excited to find out more.
Yeah.
Well, let's get you and everybody that's listening more involved. That's the key. The biggest thing for everybody that's listening or watching right now is get involved, get engaged.
Get involved.
You know,
heard it.
you
heard it.
can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. So
Thank you so much for being with us.
thank you.
God in the Grind podcast is in partnership with the Virginia Christian Chamber of Commerce and powered by Selah Productions. Visit us at covacchristianchamber.com or find us on social media at Cova Christian Chamber or Coastal Virginia Christian Chamber of Commerce.